up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be doing something very different from what we did on Monday. As you have seen in the title, today we are going to be doing a Glossier glowing makeup routine, get ready with me kind of thing, for someone with a good bit of acne, like yours truly. There is some kind of common criticism out there, the reductress being one of the biggest perpetrators of it out there. They just love to kind of like shit on Glossier. Like, it kind of drives me crazy how they're always just like, well, you know, Glossier is just for pretty people. And they've written a lot of really critical articles that are just like super sarcastic. I'm not a huge fan of the reductress. I think it's just kind of like milking a market that they know is like angry feminists, and they're giving them kind of shareable content and they're making lots of money off of it. I don't think that it's necessarily as like conscious as it claims to be. It is basically a money machine like anything out there on the internet, and it just happens to be catering to an audience that's really live right now. So, not a huge fan of the reductress anyway, but I do feel like it's been kind of a common misconception that you just can't get that like fresh skin glow up without perfect skin to begin with. And as you can see, I am Rudolph the Red-Nosed Khaki right now. I have got some serious kind of like angry breakouts, some hormonal breakouts, some general nonsense going on in my face. And so today I'm here to debunk the idea that you can't get a nice, fresh, no makeup kind of glow with garbage skin, okay? You can, we're going to today, and I'm going to show you how. Now, I have already used my Glossier Milky Jelly Cleanser, and I put on some of the priming moisturizer, as well as the Summer Fridays mask, the jet lag mask that I reviewed earlier this week. I'm just loving it. It works great as a primer. It works great to kind of achieve this really nice sort of like glow to your skin. And the first product that I'm going to be going in with makeup-wise is actually not going to be Glossier. What I'm going to show you guys is sort of how to take a few extra steps to neutralize these kinds of things and blend them rather than covering it with a mask of makeup. And it's going to make it so that you can still kind of let your natural features shine through and get that quote-unquote Glossier glow, but it doesn't necessarily have to be like all Glossier products. This is not just a Glossier commercial. So let's go ahead and push my bangs out of the way here. So the first product that I'm actually going to be going in with is this Andalou Naturals 1000 Roses Color Plus Correct CC Cream in Sheer Nude, SPF 30. I did not initially like this product when I bought it. I kind of expected it to be more like a tinted moisturizer, and it does not play well with powder, so don't even try. This is purely a color correcting CC cream, and you're going to see in a second. So it starts off really pale, but what it's doing is it's just neutralizing the discoloration on my skin. Not necessarily adding pigment, just helping neutralize a lot of my redness, my irritation, my current acne, my melasma, my history of acne, my taxes, my debt, my credit score. And already, that's so much better. So one of the main things to stay away from with these kinds of makeup routines is powder. You're going to end up with a makeup-y look no matter how little powder you use. So the best thing that you can do here is get yourself a good mattifying setting spray at the end, and that's going to help everything stay put all day without using a powder. So the next thing that I'm going to be going in with is the Glossier Cloud Paint. I'm going to be using the shade Beam because it matches most closely the sort of red tones in my face. I know, that seems counterintuitive. You're like, why would you want to bring that out? It's because this kind of flies in the face of a normal makeup routine philosophy, right? So any other makeup routine, you're going to start with foundation. You're going to kind of block everything out and then bring it back. In this case, what we want to do is, you know, yes, neutralize with good, like, you know, a CC cream or a primer or something like that. But right now, before I put any concealer or anything like that on, I want to put natural flush on my face, and it will actually help blend and camouflage a lot of the imperfections of redness that are already in my face. And then we can go in and kind of touch up with concealer, but we won't end up using as much concealer as I probably would have, because honestly, like, my face is generally kind of pink. So I don't want to start with white and then add everything back in, because then you end up with like a lot of product on your face, and that's totally not the point in this kind of makeup routine. So I'm going to put a little bit of this on the back of my hand for more control. You can just apply this with the fingertips, that's totally fine. This is an incredibly universally flattering shade. I happen to like it because it's a little bit oranger than the Puff. The Puff does look extremely pink on me, and that is because I have yellow undertones. Everything wants to turn pink on me. You will end up going through a little bit more product this way. Just keep that in mind. If you want to really get, you know, the most use out of a tube of cloud paint, apply it directly with your fingers. You're going to have it go a lot farther because it's not being soaked up by a sponge, but I like to have a little bit more control here. And already you're seeing I'm kind of starting to achieve a dewy, kind of rosy appearance, and we're going to put this more places than you might think. I've gotten comments in the past of people being like, are you putting blush on your eyes? Are you putting it on your forehead? I'm like, yeah. So I'm actually going to put it on my eyes, I'm gonna put it on my nose, I'm gonna put it on my chin. We're gonna just really make it look like the redness on my skin is kind of intentional. You know what I mean? And you can actually keep working this stuff for a while. It really stays movable for a long time until you sort of set it. And so you can wipe it away if you decide it's too much or something like that. But I find that while I'm working with it, I'm like, oh wow, it seems like a lot. And then I look at myself in the mirror and I'm like, actually that looks like me, you know? And you can still see my freckles, you can still see my blemishes, obviously. I do like that mask that I have on underneath there has really brightened my eyes up, so I don't feel like I need to put like a whole crap ton of concealer under there to make it look okay or normal. But I will say, the thing that kind of ticks me off the most about these articles making fun of Glossier and getting the sort of like no makeup glow is that there's this undercurrent of if you have bad skin, you have to cover it up. Like that really grinds my gears. It's like, you know, if you're a woman and you have quote unquote bad skin, you have acne, you have like red dots on your face and things like that and just irritation, the fact that a feminist website like Reductress would say like, well, Glossier is not good enough because it's not for the ugly people. You know, like, and I get it, their like weird kind of like cynical tone that's supposed to kind of like, you know, be inflammatory and piss people off and whatever. But my whole thing is like, at what point do we, you know, stop shaming women for their skin? Period. You know what I mean? Like, men don't have to wear makeup. Men can wear makeup if they want to. I don't think that men should be shamed for wearing makeup if they choose to. Women, we're allowed to not wear makeup. We're allowed to not be perfect. We're allowed to have bad skin. Like, this whole idea that women have to be perfect and that a company like Glossier or anybody else who's making kind of a lightweight, sort of like low pigment, kind of glowy makeup line is only for people who have perfect skin to begin with is just like, it blows my mind because it's like, okay, who's to say that I wanted to cover every single thing on my face? Who's to say that I wanted to look like you, okay? I don't necessarily want to look like someone else. Like, I want to look like however I want to look that day, and you are enough. Your face is enough. There's nothing wrong with your face. I don't care how much acne you have. Like, just, we need to get out of this mindset of just like, oh, okay, well, my face is wrong, and I need to make it right, you know? It's however you feel that day. Like, do whatever you want. There's just, I don't know. I mean, anytime I give advice on my channel, a lot of times it's because it's like, okay, well here's, if you have the same taste that I do, if you have the same desired outcome that I have when I am doing my makeup, then here are my tips for success in meeting those needs. But like, if you don't have the same kind of expectations or the same kind of idea of what's beautiful, then like, you know, do it your way. More power to you. It's just this idea that like we have to just cover everything up drives me absolutely bonkers. So anyway, going in with concealer now. This is the Glossier Stretch Concealer, and this is a very low pigment concealer, and I find that it works best to tap this. I have seen people sort of just rub it. I find that it makes fingerprint marks if you do that. If you just tap it, it just blends. Oh, look at that. So that's no concealer, that's concealer. And it looks like skin. Like, could you go in and set this with a little bit of powder? Yes, but then you have to go back in and rebuild the pigment in your cheeks on top of that, and then you've lost your freckles if you have them. And I just find that for a no makeup look, you really do have to wear less makeup. Stay away from the urge to powder. This will be a dewy look, obviously, so it's not going to last all day, but I do find that like the Skindinavia or even the NYX, something that has a little bit of a mattifying property to it in terms of a finishing spray is going to do a world of good. So depending on what kind of bothers you about your face and that you're trying to conceal, you know, that's going to dictate how much you actually feel like you want to. But I don't know, I like to step pretty far back from the mirror to make sure I just look like me, not so much that I have gotten really, really close and covered everything exactly perfectly. And then I'll go in and kind of like blend this with my finger a little bit. I absolutely love this CC cream. It smells so good and it performs so beautifully. I just never thought that I would want to wear something kind of so lightweight. Pretty much like no pigment at all, but how much difference it makes in color correction. And while this is dewy, yes, it is not greasy. So that is so great. And I'm really not putting a lot on, it's time consuming. It's time consuming to cover things specifically, to go in and actually tediously cover one blemish after another, instead of putting just, you know, a full coverage foundation on. So I mean, I don't fault anybody. I wear a full coverage foundation all the time. I don't fault anybody for thinking that that's beautiful. It is. A perfect canvas is very beautiful, but that doesn't mean that you don't have options. You know what I mean? It doesn't mean that just because you have acne, it's the only option that you have. I think we could even go in with a little bit more of the cloud paint. What do you guys think? And then we're gonna go in with the Haloscope, which is part of my giveaway. Actually, these are part of my giveaway too, the cloud paints. And if you guys are interested in any of these, like, definitely let me know. And, you know, we can do future giveaways, including these kinds of products. So the Haloscope is this little stick right here, and this is in the shade Quartz, and it is a really hydrating kind of balmy highlighter, and it does add that kind of what you would think of as the Glossier model glow that you kind of see when the light hits their face and stuff like that. So just kind of take that and put it everywhere you feel, you know what I mean? Kind of brow bone, upper lip here. I'll kind of stick it everywhere. And then rub it in with your finger. You kind of don't even really have to rub it in, you just kind of tap it in, because it's just kind of a really pretty, like, slight amount of highlight, you know? But it's really nourishing, so it doesn't give you that, like, catch on every flaw in your face kind of appearance. All of these products are really well priced too. I appreciate that about them. I'm gonna go, just a touch more of the stretch concealer. But you know what I mean? So like when you let the imperfections on your face kind of shine through, you end up being able to work with them. You end up kind of enhancing what you already have going on without doing as much work, which is really nice. So what I've done is I've taken kind of the redness of my skin and I've used it. And I've made it so that it just looks kind of like this could actually maybe be my skin if, you know, I was really lucky. All right, so just to stay in the Glossier vein here, I am going to use just a little bit of the Lid Star. This is in the shade Slip, and this is just going to give like an almost, I'm using very little, it's going to give like an almost imperceptible kind of sheen to my eyes, but it's going to kind of like set down. It's not going to move. It's not going to settle into lines. And it's just so pretty. You could also use this as a highlight if you preferred. And this is also my giveaway. I'm not meaning to do that. I include things that I really like in my giveaways and the things that I actually use. And so it just gives it a little bit of a nice sheen. It's like kind of a little more finished now. All right, so we got my boy brow in brown here, and I love that because we have just a lot of really nice sort of cream and wet and serum media on my face, I don't have that weird powdery appearance to my eyebrows. So I'm not kind of working against anything. I just get to have this really nice, like, clean, groomed brow. Boom, uncomplicated. My favorite way to be. And we'll just do the other one with what's left on the brush here. And this, honestly, like, I have my kind of daily makeup routine that I do, which often is full coverage just because, you know, I like to be kind of extra sometimes, but it's so nice to have kind of a good go-to of a makeup routine that isn't time consuming and you don't feel like you have to like dress up to your makeup. You know what I mean? You can just leave the house in whatever and your face looks kind of like fresh and a little bit better than what nature gave you. We're going to go in with some of the Thrive Causemetics liquid lash extensions. Who's surprised? Exactly nobody. And I'm gonna do just one coat of this, not go too crazy, because I don't know, a big lash with this would just feel kind of incongruous. And I don't usually do that all at once, and it's gonna get up there, but I can wipe it off. I posted this on my Instagram story yesterday, and you guys really liked it. You know, you guys were like, holy crap, that looks awesome, you know, do a tutorial, and I was like, okie dokie. So, on my lips, make sure I get any concealer or whatever off of them. On my lips, I'm just going in with the Glossier BirthdayBalm.com. It is the cool iridescent packaging, the little collab that they did with Milk Bar. I don't think the collab with Milk Bar is still going on. BirthdayBalm.com is here to stay. And the final step is to hit this with some finishing spray, like I said, that's going to help it dry down and kind of mattify a little bit. So I'm going in with the Skindinavia, the makeup finishing spray. I really like this stuff. So y'all, if what you're going for is an undone, unmade up kind of face, but you know that what you're waking up to in the morning is not quite what you want, you know what I mean? You just kind of want to enhance it without really looking like you're wearing makeup. I think that this look is so ideal. It feels really good on my skin. It feels really nourishing. I wore it all day yesterday. You know, the little places that you have concealer or anything like that, if it starts to kind of move around, you can just touch it with your finger because there's no powder. It's really awesome. And I find that this finishing spray really, really keeps things in place all day. It makes a huge difference. I love just kind of the natural brow, the natural lash, the natural cheek. Just I think that this is such like a good, chic, almost like model off duty, you know what I mean, kind of look. And it just goes to show, guys, that just because you might have imperfect skin, because hello, we all do. I rarely meet anybody who will just say that they absolutely love their skin. They're like, oh yeah, my skin's perfect, never had a problem. Guys, even the Glossier models, like, I'm sure that they don't have perfect skin naturally. So there is always a way to make it work, and I hope that this kind of helped, I don't know, shed a little bit of light on the other side of doing this kind of look, and it doesn't always have to be on perfectly like 20-year-old skin. It can be on a 31-year-old who has a lot of acne, and you can still achieve this kind of like effortless, low-key, glowy look. So guys, if you enjoyed this, give it a thumbs up. Let me know down in the comments below if this is something that appeals to you, or if this is something that surprises you, or if this is something that you do on a regular basis. Just let me know. And if you have any other tips on how to kind of enhance a look like this without it being kind of like overdone, let me know that too. Guys, if you want to keep hanging out with me on this channel, hit the button down below and subscribe. I would love it if you did. Thank you so much for watching. I love you guys, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.